Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new Improved Subject 4 podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well and that you like the whole new setup, the backgrounds. I see Acer right there, loves the backgrounds. Once again, that is Squatter's Magic. So, hi guys, it's been a while. I forgot how to stream, but I'm joined here with Nugs and Pastel. Hi guys.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Hello.
I will not be so close to my microphone so it doesn't sound like I'm eating.
You say putting it close to your face.
Hey guys, it's been a while since it really has been a while since we've been on here.
Autumn 21, thank you so much for that subscription.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a couple of announcements since we've been away for a couple of weeks. In our description, it does look a little bit different because we're branching away from 863 material. We do have a new link tree that has everything that I'm going to be talking about linked up. So if you want to go ahead and check out our new socials, we have a new Reddit page. And you can find that in our link tree, which is in the description. It's the first link, I believe, in the description. So we have a new subreddit, and every week we're going to have a topic. Except for the last Saturday of the month, we will be going over 863 materials that we can talk about. We'll go over the canon stories. Today, if you did not get the memo, today we are not going over 863. We had a topic to go over. If you would like to, thank you, Dusty Girl. Dusty Girl's also posted in the chat. If you would like to know what topics we are going to be talking about, and if you'd like to vote on those topics, that will be displayed on our Discord every Monday night. So Monday night, while I'm at work, and there's a slow time there's like an hour at my work where I'm not doing anything. So I will post some topics that my staff or myself want to talk about, and you guys get to vote on it. So make sure that you are a member of our Discord and you get to vote on it. And then that following Tuesday, I will announce the winning topic. And if you guys want to submit any of your writings or your experiences, like I think the last topics were like our first crush, supernatural experiences. We are talking today about near-death experiences because that's what the Discord wanted to hear. If you would like, if you have a story about those and you want it to be read on air, you can submit it to our Reddit, or there is a spot for you to submit it on the Discord. So those are two places you can submit your stories. Another announcement is CrouchingBison.com is no more. Sad. So
putting it down.
Squatter has shut down his website, but lucky for us, he has moved his entire store over to s4podcast.com. That is our website. You can find it. It has its own link. You can still find Crouching Bison merch and posters that he has made. I know that there were some people over on the official like, how did everyone get those posters? That's s4podcast.com. There's a section for Crouching Bison. So he's moved his entire store to our site. Also, I want to go over the schedule of the podcast. We had to go a little bit later today because I was still working on stream stuff. That countdown that you guys all experienced at the beginning, that literally just happened. I finished that maybe an hour ago. So we did go a little bit later today, but from now on, the schedule for the podcast is going to be every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So once again, that's every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you were strictly just wanting 863 material, that is going to be the last Saturday of the month. So since this is not the last Saturday, we have one more Saturday. We will talk 863 next week. Unfortunately, I have not gotten done with the title sequence. I have been writing the music for it. Yes, I'm actually writing the music this time.
What? Wait, you didn't tell me this.
Yeah, I did. I
You
did.
didn't. I'm pretty sure you didn't. 90%
I'm
sure.
writing the music for the new title sequence. I'm not writing from scratch. It is gonna be. If you guys are a fan of Artemis, about June of last year, I turned the 863 theme to orchestra, an orchestrated piece. It was featured on a Behind 863 video.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to turn one of Mike Badal's songs. I have two avenues I'm thinking about. I'm turning one into a rock version because I like rock. I'm also turning one into a pop version. And then I'm going to see which one my team likes better. And then I'm going to build the title sequence for that. That means I did promise my YouTube members last season that we would include them into the title sequence. So that means if you are a YouTube member, your name is going to pop up before every podcast with the cool backgrounds and with our names, because you guys are just as much as supporting this platform as Nugs or Squatter or Pastel do. You guys are, this is very much your guys' platform, so I want to include your guys' names in that. So if you look in the chat and you see, I can see Grace right there, she's got a pink microphone. That means she is a YouTube member. How do you become a YouTube member? You click the little join underneath the video. So
Right next to the subscribe button. And if you have
yes.
not subscribed, please do that.
Yes, please subscribe and consider becoming a member. You have until the 29th of this month to become a member if you want your name included in this season's title sequence. So yeah, so that's just going to be one of the perks that our members get. We are going to be revising the perks, so stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of Ikra, thank you. Welcome
Thank you,
to
Ikra.
level 1. Thank you so much. I think I'm saying your name correctly, right?
And
Ikra?
if you do become a member, make sure to connect your Discord account to your YouTube account so you can get access to those membership channels within our Discord server.
Yes, because you get
Because if you do not, you will not. If you don't do that, you will not have access to our Minecraft server channels or any of our private channels we have for our set up for our members.
Yep. So without further ado, that is all the announcements I've had. Please join the Reddit. Link is in the link tree. Please check out Crouching Bison. He's brought all of his stuff over to our website. New schedule time every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's kind of nice that we're not having to rely on Spellbound's upload time now. Now we can actually be official and be like, no, it's every Saturday, 1 p.m. We're gonna be here.
I think it's definitely nice too because then, we're not, we're not having to worry about, oh, this episode might get uploaded late. This person has plans this later afternoon. We don't have to wait for it to be uploaded, so we
Yeah.
can do it whenever we want.
Yeah. So, and the title sequence, if you want to get your name in the title sequence, become a member, a YouTube member by the 29th, and we will get you in there. That means here's also an incentive. Yes, we are branched away from Spellbound material. We're only going to be talking about it once a month, but Matthias is still our executive producer. He's still put money into this podcast, so he gets the role of executive producer, and all of our YouTube members get to be in that title sequence that Matthias is in. So that's kind of a cool perk. If you guys be like, look, I'm in a video with a famous YouTuber. Forget that Artemis chick, but
Yeah,
but
nobody cares about her at
no,
all.
I'm not important. But yeah, so without further ado, this week's topic that the Discord voted on is near-death experiences. So,
Something that I have not experienced myself,
which
therefore I will be reading somebody else's
which I'm
stories.
shocked because like growing up, I was so dangerous growing up. Like bikes. For
Oh,
one
dang.
thing, all I have to say is bicycles or trampolines, but I never had a trampoline. But every kid has to have a near-death experience with a bicycle.
I mean, I
I
almost got ran over by a truck on a sled, but like,
That's a near-death
I would
experience.
have counted that. Yet I agree.
I've
I'm gonna pull a Markiplier. I was too poor to afford a bicycle.
I we used to do this thing. None of us died and none of us got injured doing this, and I highly recommend if you're out there listening to me, don't do this, okay?
oh, I thought you were gonna
I'm
say
a
I highly
trained
recommend doing this.
I'm a trained professional idiot. Been that way since birth. So, had many years of experience doing this, but growing up, we used to do this thing where and I know somebody's out there going, "Oh, I used to do that too." With our bikes, we used to build these ramps, and it was
Oh
basically
no.
like cinder blocks with like a piece of wood that we could find. And I don't mean like a 4x4. I mean like plywood that's going to break at any minute. It cannot hold anyone's weight, but we're all like, "Hey, if it doesn't bend, it should work." So we put the this rickety piece of wood, like dry rotted piece of wood against these cinder blocks, and we would go high. We would do like 3 stacks of cinder blocks. And it would be like we would, the bigger the better. And then this is where it gets crazy. One of us would get brave and we're like, "Oh my gosh." And usually it was the person who built the ramp that day. So they were like, "I trust my ramp." They would lay in front of the
Mhm.
ramp. And you would have this
That's
bicyclist just
smart.
like ding, 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 booking it down the driveway and ramping over the person who decided to lay. And then we would get even braver and add another person. And like we thought we had this down to a science. We legit thought we had this down to a science where um like we would have somebody lay and then somebody would watch and see where the tire would hit. And then we would mark it. And we're like, "Okay, this is as far as we can go. No bodies past this point. So we can fit 4 people in here. Come on, guys." And we would just pile more and more people in front of this stupid ramp that's going to fall apart at any moment. And but yeah, I can't believe that not more kids are like dying doing that. But I mean, none of us really died because I mean, we thought we were being engineers and scientists, but I mean, there have been many times those cinder blocks have shifted and the plywood breaks or something like that. And we would go flying over like the handlebars. Oh, that was another thing. If you ever flew off the handlebars, you were like the hero of that day. "Dude, you went over the handlebars," and like you'd be like getting yeah, like
You
we
almost
would
died.
we would go like play video games after, like get our little Sega Genesis, and we would play video games after, and the person who went over the handlebars and like got scraped up or something would be like, you would do
And they're
anything
crying in
for
the
them.
corner. I'm just kidding.
No, that you would do anything for them because they were like, "Oh, dude, he went over the handlebars. He could have died."
It's
Um,
like at recess, the rumor of that kid who like swung their
oh,
chain.
over
Yeah,
the swing. No, it
yeah.
wasn't like that because it happened a lot more frequently than that. But the kid, whoever would like went over the handlebars or had a terrible crash that day, you served them drinks. You were like, "No, no, no,
Mhm.
don't get up. I'll get your snack." Like.
Right.
So
I
you were always
remember
wanted to be that kid.
I remember when I was younger, I used to live in this neighborhood, so there's the two streets that I was directly on. Or I mean, so there's two cul-de-sacs, and in the middle of these cul-de-sacs, um, it was a kind of a hill right on each side. There was a hill, and in the middle of these two cul-de-sacs, there was kind of like a concrete, um, flat, not flat area, but it was just a concrete curb type, raised curb type thing, all up to the end of the cul-de-sac. And at one point, one of my friends decided, oh, I'm gonna go up to the very top where the street sign was at the top, he was gonna go down this middle part, and half this middle part, it slopes to the left or slopes to the right as you're going straight. So you're trying to keep yourself up. So he goes zooming down this thing, hits his head in a tree, and then crashes into my mailbox.
Oh my gosh. Like
All while on my bike, and my bike was broken.
Oh, but you should have served him snacks that day because he did the thing.
Let me see if I can get a. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can get a picture of this area real quick. I don't
Well,
live there
that's
anymore, so it doesn't matter.
that's like one of those things. It's like I can't believe you don't have a near death experience, and I think it's because the generation that I grew up like in the 90s, growing up in the 90s, parents didn't care. They were like, "Go outside. For the love of God, just go outside." And they would literally like send us outside. Didn't tell us how to play or what to play. Um we didn't I mean, we had Sega, I had a Sega Genesis growing up. But I mean, we were limited. It was like my mom could only like take maybe a half an hour of us playing that, and then she would send us outside. Um
Mm.
and usually we learned too that when my mom growing up, if she started singing on a Saturday morning, that means she was in a cleaning mood. So we
Oh.
would run outside and we would not come home. We would
No,
not come
I
home
can't
until like the
clean.
sun went down because we did not want to clean. So
Right. All right,
because
I'm
she
gonna get a screenshot of this real quick.
because it's like legit, you know, you just figured that out. We would rather be outside, and like kids these days are like wanting to be YouTubers. I didn't have YouTube growing up, so
Hmm.
but I mean that's probably why you don't have near death experiences like I do growing up. I don't know. We used to have dirt clod wars.
I'm
Like we
gonna
would
send this to you, Artie, if you want to
oh,
put it up on screen briefly.
okay. We used to do dirt clod wars, and you would try to be careful, but you never knew if there was a big rock in that.
It was this big, weird middle thing that he would go up. The sign's right behind where you can't see, but started at the sign and went straight down the thing and ran into my mailbox down there.
Here, I'm bringing it up. Bear with me, I'm bringing it. Uh, okay, chat can see it now, so now you can explain it.
Yeah, so the sign is directly to the left, on the left bottom corner, and my house is that one in the far back where you can see the garage. That was where I used to live. But you would go straight down. He would went straight down this in between these trees, and then hit my mailbox behind the trees.
Oh.
So yeah, it was very smart of him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
See,
Nugs killed the stream. Way to go, Nugs. Oh, never mind.
see
I thought I did too. I'm like, oh.
see the just looking at the street, it's nothing like how I grew up. Like I grew up in Arizona, dirt roads. We used to play street football because it was like the dirt road would be free of like thorns and cactuses and stuff. So you would want to play in the dirt road football because if you fell, you're not falling on a bunch of thorns. Um, we used
Yeah.
we used to do this thing. If a car came by on a dirt road, we used to grab like we used to be like, "Oh, hi," but then we would crouch down so the car or truck couldn't see us, and we would run as fast as we can, crouch down, and grab the bumper, and
Oh
then
no.
we would grab the bumper, and our feet would just drag and skid across the dirt road.
Why?
That's smart.
'Cause I was an idiot.
That checks out.
Yeah, like yeah, most definitely. But near death experiences. Those were just fun. Like we could have died because like at any moment somebody could have gotten really hurt and maybe because I don't remember ever wearing a helmet.
Someone was
Like
gonna kill.
I don't remember wearing a helmet on the bike and I don't remember
People don't wear helmets where I live.
yeah,
Like, you
it's
bikers on the freeways or highways, whatever you call it, without a helmet. I'm like, how on earth do you do that? Like,
yeah.
I would not wanna go on a highway, freeway without a helmet.
I do remember grabbing the bumper and like skidding across the road. Um, I know exactly where we got that from. We got that from we got that idea of grabbing the bumper and going down the dirt road by Back to the Future. He's on his
Ah,
in the very
yes.
beginning, he's on
Ah,
his
yes.
his skateboard and he's grabbing cars and they're like speed boosting him. But I remember my mom um didn't know about this until one day I had to bring a friend home who had a bashed up face because the driver of the truck figured out what we were doing and he slammed on his brakes. So
Oh
my
no.
friend's face went right into the back of the truck.
Oh,
So then
no.
we had to go home and tell like my mom after we like try to get leaves and like oh, we had to go home and tell mom and be like in exactly how it happened. Um
Wait,
so
your mom or the kid's mom?
well, it was always my mom because the dirt road that I'm thinking of that we used to do it didn't have a lot of high traffic. It was just a neighbor's access road. So, at my other friend's house we would play street football, but it was kind of busy down that dirt road, so we would always keep getting interrupted. And then one of us was all like, "Oh, what about this little side dirt road?" So,
Mhm.
so it was usually my mom because she was closest. And I also had the pool. So after we like played football, we would go jump in the pool. So, but anyway, so yeah, exactly what Acer just said. With all the dumb stuff that we did as kids, it's no longer. It's amazing that we're still alive. But that is actually not my near death experience. I'll tell mine later. Everyone knows about my appendix and going into septic shock that I had last year. I was very close to death last year. You wouldn't have known it by my attitude. Um, because Nugs, you knew me through all that.
Mm.
Did you ever once think I was dying at that time?
No, but you didn't act like it, but I did know of I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know all of it, but I knew of,
Yeah.
some of it,
Well,
and you didn't act like it, no.
no, because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But But yeah, I won't tell that story because some of you guys already know that story, but I do have another one. But I know Pastel has a story waiting
I
for us.
do. Do you want me to kick us out of the gate first?
Yes, and if you have any trigger warnings, just to let everyone know.
Oh, absolutely.
We might be talking a little gory. There's probably going to be some injuries, maybe hospitalizations, drowning. I know some of the stories involve drowning or almost being, drowned. So if that is something that you don't want to listen to, then by all means, we understand. So trigger warning just right now that these topics could bring that up. So, anyways, continue.
Of course. I will say right out of the gate, blood, gore, and hospitalization, and I will say medical examinations to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that covers everything. Just it's bloody. No sugarcoating that. So this happened, I want to say 2017, 2018. I was still in high school. Uh, I probably was a senior, so around that time. So how my house is laid out, we live in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Like we are so far out of the city range. We have a farm like right next to our house.
Mhm.
Not mine, but we have one. Farmer Pastel, let's go. But over that, the city can't pave slash blacktop our roads. So like our roads are like pure gravel. And to get to my house, there's a fork in the road, and the fork goes around to a cul-de-sac and a very like steep, like 90-degree hill that I have to walk down to go to school, to catch my bus, and then get off of it to go home. I was wearing a pair of shoes I got from Walmart, and you know Walmart's shoes. They have no traction on the soles on the bottom. Like, none whatsoever. Like, as smooth as a baby's buttocks. Smooth.
Can't confirm.
And usually my mom, like, wakes me up. She watches the news, being like, "Oh, Pastel, you need an umbrella today. Be safe, okay?" But she overslept that morning, and I didn't know it was going to rain. So it obviously poured the rain, and whenever I got off the bus to walk down the hill, obviously I'm being like, okay, there's loose gravel. I could die at any second now. So, cut to my shoes having no grip whatsoever. I slipped on the gravel, punctured a 3-inch hole in my knee on gravel. And whenever I stood up, obviously my leg was wet because like I fell in water, and due to an instinct I touched my like inner thigh, because like where my knee is in the upper inner thigh area, whenever I touched that and I pulled my finger back, it was just pure red. Like,
Ew.
this wasn't nature water, this was body water.
Mm.
So I was just like, oh my god, what do I do? My house is like 10 feet. Am I gonna like limp? Do I just lay here in the sidewalk? What do I do? So I ended up just like picking myself up, and I like limped my way to the house. And my mom wasn't home. So it turned out um she was just visiting friends, and like it took her an hour to get home. And I ended up severing a vein in my knee.
Oh,
Ooh,
geez.
that's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not at all.
like I'm very grateful it was not an artery, but I was literally gushing blood everywhere, and I didn't really have any way to like prop it up, because what you're supposed to do if you have a gash like that is you put it above your heart. But I didn't have any way to do that. Like I couldn't prop it up whatsoever. So I was literally on my couch, literally just dripping blood all into my floor. Like I couldn't even get a towel because I didn't want it to like spew out more blood. I didn't know what damage I had done because I wasn't going to lift up my pant leg to see, because that's just bad. Because usually if you
The
have a wound
moment you see it.
oh yeah, no, the pain is gonna hit. Like I'm running on adrenaline. Absolutely. No, you are right. But it's also like You really shouldn't also remove wounds from that. Not wounds from, God, yeah. Shouldn't remove clothing from a wound like that, because that's how infection happens.
Well,
But,
that
like,
and in med school, and in first aid, they train you that if you have an open wound that is going to need stitches, you apply gauze and you don't take that first gauze off. If it
I didn't
bleeds
have any.
through, you add more gauze and more gauze. You never take it off because you could do more damage ripping the
Right.
skin. So yeah,
But, like, I
definitely
couldn't.
right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did. My mom is like very much like old fashioned, being like, "Don't get your clothes dirty. Don't step in a mud hole." This is literally her accent. We're from Kentucky, and she's literally
What's
like,
a mud hole? Sorry.
no, but she's just like very just hick and southern and just like sweet as can be. But like eventually, my mom comes home. Like she didn't have her cell phone on her, and she just comes in and she's like, "What happened?" I'd be like, "I'm dying." But
I'm dying. Yeah.
but but so what had happened was during that hour I was slowly just losing blood and I was getting very loopy. Just very just like, "Whoa, where am I? You know, am I gonna die today on this couch in a pool of my own blood?" And she like had to like get her walking stick because she has very bad knees. She's old. What can we do? So she was
Hmm.
just I had the cane on one side, and she was helping me with my arm to like make sure I don't put pressure on that leg. And then she got me in the car, and then we went to urgent care first because we didn't know what damage it was. We honestly probably should have just went to the hospital first because I eventually had to go there anyways. But we're dumb. And like as soon as we got there, I was literally just pouring blood into the carpet on the urgent clinic. And the
That's
reception,
not sanitary.
oh god no. And I was sitting right across from a woman and her toddler is the bad part. That kid is probably scarred for life now. But
Some kid out there sitting. One day, I was in a hospital and I saw a lot of blood coming out of a girl's knee.
yeah, yeah. But the receptionist was just like, "We're gonna take you back first because you are bleeding all into the carpet." And I was just like, "Oh, am I? I didn't notice."
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that I was in immense pain.
Well, the pain hasn't kicked in yet. Keep that in mind.
Oh, okay, so
I'm still running on
you were in
adrenaline.
shock at this point
Oh,
still.
basically, yes.
Amazing.
No, I can't
That's
feel
even
anything.
better.
Like, I can't feel nothing right now. So eventually, I go back to the examination room, and they cut the clothing of my pants so that they can get to my knee. Oh my god. It looked like The Shining whenever the elevator doors open.
Oh,
That is just how much it like soaked into my pant leg.
didn't need that visualization again.
You're welcome. But I had just a deep puncture in my knee. Like obviously they like propped it up and like just watching every single ounce of blood just come out of me. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna pass out more. And I want to say this: I don't have a fear of blood, like at all. But
Yeah, neither do I.
the amount of blood I lost, like during that hour I was home alone, was oh my god, this needs to be inside of me right now.
Yep.
Because
See, I
even
don't
yeah,
mind blood. I just don't like it when it's coming out of me. And if
right,
but
no,
if and it's only if it's a lot.
oh
Like
honey,
I
listen to me.
I'm used to nosebleeds, but if
Oh
I'm
same.
like dying.
Oh, this was a lot.
Yeah.
So like the only thing they did is because I needed to go to the hospital. Like they knew I had severed a vein. It needs stitches that they can't do. So they bandage it very tightly, being like, okay, ambulance will be here soon. You're going to the hospital. Good luck.
Good luck.
'Cause
Oh,
that's basically what the urgent
oh man.
that's basically what urgent care is.
Oh man.
That is
Just yeah,
100%.
so good luck.
That is basically 100% what the urgent clinic is like in the United States.
Well, United States healthcare system also
Yeah,
isn't the
no,
best in the world either. I'm
God
just kidding.
no.
Wait, it's not? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
What? I'm just kidding.
So so cut to I am being just sped to the hospital, being like, "Am I okay? Like what?" Because obviously they don't want to like tell you like the severity of your wounds to like make you go into shock further.
Mhm.
So I had no idea what was going on. Just like, because they gave me morphine in the ambulance as well. Because again, I didn't feel any pain, but obviously just looking at how bad the knee was, I needed it.
Yeah.
So pretty much just a bare high in an ambulance right now. Just profusely bleeding, like it's all over the gurney. It's just all over the paper they have to protect it. And I'm like soaking through tons of bandage right now. So eventually I get to the hospital. I am instantly taken back because obviously they pre approve you and just being like, okay, come in. And I won't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyways because I have poor word choice and I didn't even know what I was saying in the first place. The scalding they have to do to clean it
Mhm.
is worse. Like so people who don't know, scowling pads for in the hospital are basically a sponge with giant spikes on the back, and they debris your skin around it to make sure it's clean. It was awful, but it wasn't work. That was tame compared to what injection they gave me to numb my knee. That literally was pure fire.
Did it
Like,
make well, it made you feel it at that point.
oh, keep in mind I was also still very high on morphine,
Oh yeah.
but like the burn of I think they use Novocaine or is that just for teeth? Doctor, do you know? Artemis?
Lidocaine?
No, it was
No,
is like
no, no. Lidocaine is the. You're thinking of.
topical, right?
No, I think
I said
Nov.
Novocaine.
Yeah, Novocaine is correct. I think you're thinking of lidocaine for the dentist. Or am
Point
I
is, they
confusing them now?
probably, but they gave me just the hugest needle of just whatever the numbing medicine they used to give stitches were, and oh my god, I wanted to scream so bad because it hurt that much. Like it literally felt like you were pouring lava into my vein. Like I can't handle this. I am literally fully just gripped into my chair, just my claws ripping open the leather, being like, I'm fine. And
He's
eventually,
but a flesh wound.
basically, honestly, like I have to pretend to be strong even though I'm on the verge of tears. I need to vomit from the pain I'm in right now.
Mhm.
And they gave me a blood transfusion because I didn't know I had lost that much blood.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't either at this point. I was just so out of it from like mix of blood
Yeah,
loss.
I mean, at this point, you weren't anything. You were just there.
I was very pissed. My
You
mom
were
said,
physically there, but at that point,
"Dude,
you're
I was like
mentally
Matthias.
you were in like Tahiti or I don't know.
No, I was
Mentally, you were not there.
oh no, 100%. I was like Nelson with whenever he possessed Matt. It's just like there is like 7 hours of my life I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I
I mean,
needed.
you're kind of glad about that too.
Oh yeah,
I would
like
not want to be awake through any surgeries.
oh I was awake.
Oh.
No, so how they usually do stitches is you're awake.
Oh, different stitches, yeah.
Yeah, all they do is you're awake. All they do is numb the area. Cause like mine wasn't considered trauma. Cause like I obviously wasn't in a car accident and it wasn't like a really like deep like 12-inch gash. It was just like a 3-inch puncture wound like I had been shot. But so all they did was uh, first they did the iodine to like clean it, make sure everything's good. Cause first it's a surgery site, basically. Then they did the Novocaine to make sure I'm numb, and then they took the the hook and the thread to first they had to stitch the vein back together because
Mm-hmm.
there is a very nice puncture wound in that. Luckily, I can't see the vein, so that's good. I can't see that, but I watched them sew my knee together.
Mm.
I
I
thought
wouldn't
that
want to watch that.
I thought that was dope. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, but
But
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Did you die?
What are the?
Just
I feel like I did.
Yeah,
But did you
Pastel's dead.
die?
Yeah,
Pastel.
I've been taxidermied. But
Oh.
No, this is Pastel's story on how she turned into a bear. At this point, she wasn't a bear yet.
but so I'm being pumped full of fluid. I have a morphine drip. I have a blood transfusion bag. I look like I have been killed, and like they are trying to Frankenstein me back together through my knee. But
Gotta put the brain back in there, dang it.
yeah, brain goes in your knee. Let's go. But so eventually I'm all stitched up. I'm put in recovery, and I'm just like, what happened? Because like everything has been just a blur. Because I'm just loopy from blood. Like what should be in my body is out of my body. Like, and that should not happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically like I just donated a ton of blood, but not in the way I intended. So they were just like trying to keep me from like not passing out because they were also needed to test me if I had a concussion, which thankfully I didn't. But they're just like, okay, you can't eat yet. We need to get an X-ray and an MRI of your head. Okay, so after that's done, we have results back from that. They are just like trying to force feed me like graham crackers, saltines, and like got me a Pepsi, like because that was all the snacks they had, and they were just like, okay, can we please like get her blood sugar up, like do something, because I'm like dozing off and on, and my mom's just like, please don't go to sleep, don't. Like she is in full panic mom bear mode, being like, oh my god, please don't go to sleep. Am I going to lose my daughter? Because obviously she's just full panic.
Yeah,
You,
I mean,
you,
I would be too, honestly. I
yeah,
mean, like seeing that in, your kid, that would freak you out.
yeah, and obviously we didn't know what was going on yet if I did have a concussion. But that's it. I got to go home a few hours later. I didn't go to school for a week because I had really deep stitches. And that's my
And
story.
now Pastel's alive.
So you
Lost a lot of
didn't
love.
die.
No, I didn't. Liar.
Scammed. Just kidding.
Clickbaited. Clickbaited.
Wait.
No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, puncturing a vein, that definitely is a near death experience.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
I lost a ton of blood that day.
Uh,
Yeah.
we do have a story.
I have one. Well, not from me, obviously. It's from a Reddit.
Yeah, I'll read our Discord and then we'll go to Reddit and then we'll tie it all up with how I almost died. um over on the Discord Nefarium, and if you guys don't know this person, she's actually one of my coworkers. um they wrote their near death experience was driving home from work one day. I had a blinding headache, so was driving a lot slower than usual. Arrow turned green for me, but I was slow to react and slow to make the turn. A large SUV going at least 30 miles over the speed limit ran the red light and missed me by a couple of feet. If I hadn't had that headache, me and my little Volkswagen would be dead because it would have T-boned me on the driver's side.
Why?
Yeah, that would have been, yeah, because the most fatal car accident is a T-bone, especially on the driver's side.
Really, I didn't know that.
Well, because
I mean, it makes sense
it
though.
T-bones are
Oh,
the
absolutely.
most because I mean, think about it. There's an engine in front of you, and there's a trunk behind you. So when those hit, those absorb the impact. But there's only a door on that side.
Mm.
They now have like curtain airbags, but not everyone's driving the latest model car. So getting hit, the car, especially if you're in the driver's seat, um, it's right there. That car is coming right through that door. So yeah, the most fatal car accidents are T-bones. So yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I agree with Nugget. It does take a lot of. Take a lot. Yeah. I'm having a stroke. No,
No.
it does make a lot of sense. Like why they would be like the
Yeah.
most dangerous. Because I did get T-boned a few months ago. I've already told this whole story, but
Yeah, that sucked.
oh, it did. It broke my arm. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't classify that as a near-death experience, other than to our car because that got totaled.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does total your car.
I got T-boned in an Arby's.
I was thinking about
No,
having Arby's for
not my
lunch.
not my beef and cheese and my
I didn't
curly
know
fries.
I didn't know Arby's now sells gyros. So I
They've
was gonna
sold
get
them for years.
I didn't
My
know that.
gyro, you mean? I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. All right, Nugs. What do you have for us on our Reddit?
They're my
Okay,
companion.
so this was a story submitted by just_a_subject 4. And it's a little bit of a long one, which is kind of why I chose to read it because it would take up a little bit of time. But it is about him getting, well, somebody attempting to kidnap him and his friends. I kind of read through it briefly to make sure it was okay to read on screen. So, all right, I'm gonna start reading this. Here we go.
So trigger
In,
warnings for attempted assault, attempted kidnapping, probably
yeah,
blood and violence.
no, just kidnapping. That's all he said on there. All right, in 2015, I was on a vacation in Romania in my hometown. I used to go alone on these vacations since I still have my grandma living in one of our houses, so I had a safe place to stay, and also my parents trusted me fully to be responsible and take care of myself for 1 to 2 weeks while I was there. However, one thing they didn't know about was my late nights out with my best friend. We are inseparable when we meet, so we always spend all our time together going out and having fun. And of course, as the 16, 17-year-old teenagers were back then, there were many occasions where it would be well past 2 or 3 in the morning when we would finally be on our way home. The night we realized too late, that night we realized too late that my friend forgot her key, so we couldn't sneak back into her house without her grandma knowing, so our only option was to go to my house. Unfortunately, my house was quite far away and on the other end of the city, and we would have to take a taxi to get there. No problem, nothing we haven't done before, even late at night. We called our usual taxi and waited a couple minutes, and there it was. We got into the car, everything like usual, but that's when things started to get strange, at least from my point of view. Right from the start, I had this weird gut feeling about this driver. I don't know what it was about him, but he was just radiating creepy vibes. I pushed these thoughts aside. Let me scroll, sorry. Push these thoughts aside. What the heck? I lost it. Shoot. Oh, there it is. Because I knew I could be a little bit too paranoid sometimes, and maybe this guy was chill. However, I was watching the road like a hawk since I knew the way to my house perfectly. Everything was normal up until the point where we stopped at a red light and I knew that straight ahead was the right way, but turning left took us out of the city. My heart dropped when I noticed that this guy had his left turn signal on. I knew immediately that something wasn't right, but I was starting to panic and not wanting to let it show. I started texting my friend telling her this bad gut feeling I have. To my relief, she was having the same experience, so we started texting about an emergency plan in case things really go sideways. The guy took the left turn, and now there was only a relatively long straight road leading to the exit of the city. Fortunately for us, there were still a few red lights ahead. ahead of us, so our plan was, in case he wasn't taking a right turn before the last red light, when the car was going slow enough or completely stop, we would jump out of the car and run as fast as we could to the nearest house we can find. He stopped at another red light. I was scouting the road ahead to through the gap between the door and the seat. When from the corner of my eye, I could see him slowly reaching into the door compartment and pulling out something that I couldn't make out at first what it was. But then, as he was holding it in his hand, I saw it and instantly knew what it was. My heart sank as the car started moving again, and this guy kept a box cutter clenched into his hand, pretty much trying to hide it at his side. But I'm guessing he was not aware that I could see him. My mind was racing at this point, and I had the worst thoughts rushing through my head, and all while trying to signal to my friend what I was seeing. But because I was terrified to take my eyes off the knife in his hand, I couldn't text her. We kept driving, and I finally managed to text my friend one word: knife. And at that point, all I hoped for was that she understood my point, and we had to get out of the car ASAP. And here's the last paragraph, sorry. To my relief, I spotted another red light up ahead, and I knew that this was our best and probably only chance left. We pulled up, and I looked at the timer above the red light. Yes, I know, weird, haha. In Romania, there's timers for the red lights, so you know when it turns green. And there were literally only 13 seconds left, so I knew we had to do it right now. I took a deep breath, threw a quick glance at my friend, and bumped my fist into her leg, and we both lunged at the door handles. And nothing happened. He had locked the doors. Thank God this car was an older one that still had those little pin-like things that you could pull up manually to unlock the doors from the inside. So we grabbed them, but at that moment, the guy had noticed what we were doing. And in a split second, he lunged at my friend. Excuse me. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a little bit gory. I didn't see this part. He lunged at my friend with a box cutter, slicing her arm up a bit. And when I saw it, my first instinct was to grab his arm, and I squeezed as hard as I could. But he grabbed my hand and tried to get it off of him. So now I was stuck. I was in full panic mode. I don't know what happened in those few seconds, but the next thing I remember, my friend coming up on my side, opening the door, reaching over me, and grabbing this guy by the hair and yanking him so hard that he let go of my hand. I scrambled out of the car and we ran for our lives across the street onto the first side street we saw. We didn't look back for a second until we reached a house and banged on the door, yelling for somebody to open up. Luckily, a lady opened the door and eventually we frantically started telling her what happened. We called the first we called the police afterward, but because we couldn't remember any important info about the car or anything, they couldn't find him. Afterwards, we found out that he supposedly wasn't even a real taxi driver because they tried to trace him back to the dispatcher who supposedly sent him to us, but there was another taxi who came for us and he couldn't find us, so he left for another order. So it turns out we got into a fake taxi and almost got kidnapped and possibly killed. They never found him, and the police dropped the case fairly quickly because unfortunately the police in Romania is quite bad and very often don't really solve small incidents like this. All in all, we should have listened to our gut feeling, but I guess we're lucky that we paid attention to the road and took quick decisions in a dire situation. And that is the end.
Intuition is a big thing. When you
Of
have
what
that
sense?
like gut feeling that something isn't right, listen to it.
Oh no,
Like
100%.
Oh
intuition
yeah.
will get you
Yeah.
out of so many things. So, but I'm glad I see that Mary's in the chat. Mary, glad you're okay. And I can't believe that the Romanian police think it's a small incident, like attempted murder and hijacking. Because I mean, he was coming at you with a box knife. That's a, you know, attempted murder or assault charge.
Yeah.
How is that
Um
such a small petty crime? No, I don't think
Well, you
so.
got to think it's really interesting that people will go all out to make these fake taxis just to kidnap somebody like that. You know, it was obviously real enough to the point where they believed it was a real tax, or realistic enough to that they believed that it was a real taxi and they got in. So it's very interesting. Um
I
but
I want to
yeah,
give.
I'm definitely glad you're okay
Oh,
too.
absolutely. My 2 cents. This could have been a serial killer
Oh
because
yeah, most
because
definitely.
because serial killers do that. Like they. Oh, sorry, I had popcorn and I had a kernel stuck in my throat. I'm sorry, but they will pose as taxi drivers, Uber drivers, like food delivery people to think that you're safe. And then that happens like what happened with the Redditor.
Mary
Like,
says, ever since then, I'm always checking twice before getting into a taxi. I would never take one again. But like, I
absolutely.
get in my own car. The only time I've ever taken taxis is in the UK. So, but, Mary, I'm so glad you're safe, though.
I've taken taxis from an airport to a hotel. That's about it.
That
I've never
is
done it.
definitely a near-death experience.
Well,
We're
Mary, how bad was the cut on your friend's hand? Was it like really, really bad or
Well, it was a
arm?
box cutter.
Yeah,
Gosh,
Yeah.
which
that's a
has
razor
to
blade.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Did she die? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, well, let's not joke about that
No,
in case something did
it's
happen.
after every of these stories, I just wanted
Are
to
you
like,
dead?
but did you die? uh, but so glad that you guys are okay. We're gonna go ahead and end it on my story because we have been streaming for an
Yeah,
hour.
and I have to go soon, anyways.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, Mary, let us know how your friend's cut was. I'm gonna go ahead and new merch. But did you die? It was quite
it says
bad. She went into the hospital to get a few stitches, but overall she was fine. Stitches, though, oh my gosh. I mean, it's a good thing that you were there, and like, what the guts of this person to try to take two people, that just tells me that they already succeeded taking one person and thought two people weren't a challenge. But anyways, yes, Mary, glad that you and your friend are both safe. My story. Have you guys ever been tubing?
yes.
I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
wait. Okay, what kind of tubing? Like down a river
Yeah,
or
tubing down a river.
Oh,
okay.
like tubing down a
Yeah.
like a
No.
like a lazy river. Yeah. God, my stutter is so bad. I'm
It
so
wasn't a
sorry.
lazy river. I wish it was, but no. I was born in New Mexico. I was born in a town named Farmington, New Mexico. In Farmington, there are two rivers that meet and converge into one river. And they kind of go like through the city. And you think New Mexico can't be that deep, but I mean, this river is directly connected to some Colorado mountains. So especially in the springtime, when the mountains are losing their snow, it goes, water flows downhill. So it joins up with these rivers, and these rivers can get really big. We decided we were actually there in the spring, and it's actually there was a warning that people shouldn't be in the rivers during this month, but we're like, we've been doing this forever, so and it doesn't look that bad. And and in my head I'm thinking, oh, they're telling us not to go tubing in like during the springtime because the water's really cold, because it was literally just snow the night before, the water that we're swimming in. So, but it was the last day of our vacation, and usually we get into the river with our tubes and we float through the city. Town. Well, I guess it's a city, but in my head, it's still just a town.
Right.
Yeah.
But you float through the city, and then we always get out at my grandma's house. She lives right on the riverside. So we just get out, and she'll have like barbecue and like watermelon and corn on the
I would
cob waiting
love
for
that.
us.
That would be so nice to live by a river.
And it's really nice because like literally we tube. I think it takes about 2 hours to get through the city. And then grandma's got dinner waiting for us. We just get out on the bank, put our tubes in the back of the trucks and stuff, and towel off a bit, and we have a picnic out on my grandma's lawn. So that is the route that we always, always, always take. We
I feel
might
like I
start in
feel like that
different
would be sorry.
spots. Huh? What was
I
that?
said sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, no,
I was
no.
just I was just gonna say living next to a lake just sounds like a really bad flooding area.
Well,
Right.
with these rivers, like, I mean, she's not like right there. You kind of, it's like,
Right.
but I mean, she is right there. She is there,
That
but
makes sense.
isn't there. There's also an irrigation ditch
Oh, okay. There's
that
like a
runs
flagpole.
in between her and the river. So, I mean, the
Okay, that
river,
makes
if it ever flooded, it would have to go into the irrigation ditch and then reach her house.
okay.
Um,
That makes sense. Thanks for
yeah. So she's pretty much safe. The people on the other side of the river that don't have the irrigation ditch, though, I don't even think there are other people on the other side of the river. But it flows right into the Navajo reservation. So, she's pretty much like, she's in a great location.
okay.
But
Didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. So the locations of where we get in usually change. Like sometimes we like to meet up at this one hotel that has like a riverside walk. We might go in at a park. We might go in at the locations of the start point are different, but the location of getting out is always the same. It's always at my grandma's location. So we get in and we're tubing. I am wearing, because this is very important what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a two-piece. I'm wearing bottoms, but I have shorts over them because last time I burnt my legs really bad because when you're tubing, your like thighs are getting direct sun. So I was like, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to wear shorts. So I had my two-piece with shorts on. I had flip-flops and I had sunglasses. And when we got into the river and we started tubing, I took my flip-flops off and there was a rope that dangled around my tube. So I tied my flip-flops to that rope. That rope is very important too, by the way. And what that rope is it's actually designed for you to connect other tubes to you so you can all float down as one. But nobody wants to do that because my uncles are tubing with us and they like to kick, like, because we're going underneath overpasses and they think it's funny to, especially like the littlest grandkids, they think it's funny to make it look like the grandkid's gonna hit a wall or something. So nobody wants to be tied to those idiots.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
but they are though. They are. But so nobody wants to get tied to each other because we don't trust each other. So
Yeah,
we're
sounds
just
like it.
but we're as a group flowing together down the river. If somebody gets too much ahead, they'll paddle off to the side and they'll wait for others to catch up. On, someone's always got the inexperienced tubers are with inexperienced tuber. And if there's little kids with us, they're usually in the middle of us. So because we've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for years. And so we're flowing down and we come to the part where the two rivers join up. And I think it's called the Artemis River. The Artemis River, when it joined up to the river that we were on, it was really cold. And I was floating off by myself, like just enjoying floating.
Yeah.
I was still with the group, but I can't hear their conversation. But I guess one of the little kids was starting to shiver because of how cold that this river had gotten. So the aunts decide it's too cold for the kids. We're just gonna get out and, we'll call, I think it was our cousin's my cousins had the trucks. So instead of going to grandma's house, hey, can you swing by this park and pick us up? And they knew exactly where they were. But I didn't get the memo. So I'm still just like blissfully floating down this river, have no idea that the kid got really cold, so we're getting out halfway. And I was towards the back of the pack. So I'm just enjoying the river. And all of a sudden I hear my aunt blood curdly scream my name. And I look, and everyone had gotten off to the left side of the river, and I'm towards the right side. And I was like, and the way she screamed my name was like I was in danger. I wasn't in danger. She just wanted to make sure I could hear her.
Okay.
But to me, somebody is screaming my name. Everyone's outside the river. Something's wrong. And it kind of startled me. So I start paddling, and I'm trying to get on the other side of the river, but I like panic because I don't know what if she found out that something bad happens down the river,
what if there's an alligator in there?
Or, well, it's too cold for that. This is a river that goes through Arizona, but it starts in New Mexico. So no alligators with us, but like it was deep and it was fast moving. So maybe she knew about rapids or something. And so I'm trying to get to the other side of that riverbank, and my tube flips.
Uh-oh.
My tube flips, and I had my foot pressed up against the tube, and when it flipped, my leg gets wrapped around that rope.
Oh no.
I am now pinned underneath the tube with my leg in the air. It was my right leg that's now in the air. I'm using my left leg to try to like stop and try to feel for a rock to just stop myself. But I'm completely submerged. I have no oxygen. I'm trying to stop to get some ground to stand up, but it was very deep because, we just joined with two rivers. So I'm trying to get above the surface. So I grab the rope and I pull up and I get a breath, and then I have to like keep trying to find a foothold underneath so I get submerged again. Meanwhile, while I'm trying to find a rock that I can stand up on, and it's moving quick. The river's moving really quick, and I'm still stuck underneath the tube. I'm also trying to make it to the left side of the river. And as I'm getting to the left side, the shallower and shallower it gets. And finally, I jab my foot into a crevice, and I can actually pick myself up above the tube and breathe. And my cousin was following me along the riverbank because he saw everything that happened. I hadn't come up. He was following the tube. No one has seen my head come up because I guess when I got the breath of air, my head was on the other side of the tube, so they couldn't see that. So they just see my tube flip, and I haven't popped back up. So he's just following the tube, and he sees me, and he's like, just let go of the tube. Just let go of the tube. I was like, no, I can't. Because what happened, this is where the story gets funny. My near-death experience is hilarious. It's also one of my most embarrassing moments. Because when I jammed my foot in the rock, the river is now rushing down my body. My shorts and my bikini bottoms go down with it. So now my shorts and my bikini bottoms, I am now butt naked. I'm butt naked from the waist down. underneath this tube, and I'm thinking it's muddy, people can't see my butt. But my foot that is attached to the tube has caught, now my shorts and my bikini bottom is down on my ankle of that foot that's attached to the tube. My cousin's yelling at me to let go of the tube, and I told him I can't. It's attached to me. My leg is stuck. It's stuck in the ropes, and so he grabs the tube.
Uh-oh.
He grabs the tube, which relieves that pressure, so my foot slides out, and there goes my short bottoms.
Oh, no.
But I do have to tell you, when I was underneath the tube, I was taking in so much water, like I was coughing, and I couldn't, you know, when you see people like drowning in the movies and you see them like get up and they cough up water, that
Yeah.
was my scene. But I wasn't getting out of the water. My cousin was all like, get out of the water, get out of the water. I'm like, I can't. And I'm trying to explain to him I'm now naked from the waist down. I'm trying to explain to him while I'm coughing up all the river water, and I'm all like, you know, trying to get air. And he had let go of the tube. So now not only am I missing now I'm missing my sunglasses. They fell off of my head when I flipped. I am missing my bikini bottom, my shorts, and now my flip-flops because he let go of the tube. So now the only thing I now own is my bikini top. And that's it.
That's amazing.
If I can be honest, I don't think your family members would have cared to see your butt.
I
Because
mean,
I think
it wasn't that. It was he was standing in front of me.
I think at that moment
I don't
they're
care if
just-
somebody sees my butt, but I didn't want to see my front.
That's fair. I was gonna say I don't think they care just as much as you're alive.
But I'm like still like crouched in the water. He's all like, and then finally I tell him my shorts and my bikini bottom went off. He's like, oh. He like he
Doesn't
ran.
realize it at first,
Yeah,
just
it clicked.
ran.
It clicked. And so he runs to the truck, and they didn't have the towels because my grandma has all the towels because we were supposed to get off there. But they find a like bed sheet. I don't know why my uncle had a bed sheet in his truck. So I wrapped that around me like a toga party. And so then I had and then I had the tube that I had to use because I'm from Arizona. I don't have tubes. I had to go tell my uncle I lost his tube. But it was very scary because I was underneath. They were like, you were down for like 3 minutes struggling in the water. So they were like, when are we going to tell her parents? we
We're
killed Artie.
Artemis butt naked in a river.
Oh my gosh. So then I wrapped this bed sheet around me like a toga party. And I arrive at my grandma's house. And I'm like, Grandma, do you have any shorts? She had these bright pink neon shorts. And so,
Yes.
yeah, so I sported that at the barbecue and had to get up. My grandma wanted to know the story, and everyone who missed out wanted to know the story. But I was so embarrassed. So my cousin told the story, and he thought it was just the funniest thing. He was all like, but though from hearing the story at his vantage point, it was all like, he's like, the only thing I can do to retrieve is the tube. And my uncle had made the observation that the tube wasn't like flowing down the river. So they were like, I think she's attached to it. And plus, like, I guess my uncle was just watching all of this happening on the embankment, and he's just watching this tube slowly making its way across the river. He's all like, I think she's swimming. So he's
I
all
see
like,
you over there like,
oh my gosh,
like
because
dying.
it was because I mean in order for me to get any breath, I had to pull up on that rope, and it hurt to pull on that rope because
Right.
it pinned my leg. Like I got rope burn on my ankle
Oh God, I did.
because I was pulling up on that rope that was attached to my ankle, and it was like sawing my ankle every time I pulled on it to get a breath. But yeah, so every time you guys watch SpongeBob now, you know that Bikini Bottom is because of me.
Yep.
But
Hey, I want to coin that joke. I made that joke
yes.
the other day when we were
Yeah, we had a
talking
staff meeting.
in voice. I made the joke, so you can't steal my joke.
It reminded me because Mary said the incredible story of Artemis and the lost bikini bottoms. But oh my gosh. This is another thing. So I did not know that they had a bed sheet in the car. So, and he took off running. My cousin took off running. Because he knew about the bed sheet, but he didn't say anything to me. So I kind of just stand up and I'm trying to I just stand up and I'm like hunkered behind this tree, but then I realize my butt is showing to the highway behind me. Like there was a freeway right behind me she got a really nice shot of my butt. So yeah. So that was that. That was another thing. Like I didn't want to stand up because I was either going to show my front bits to my cousin or I was going to show my front bits to the highway. Like which one?
I say the highway.
I didn't really want to show my cousin my butt either. So but yeah.
Become Bush.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's illegal in 17 states.
But yeah, so
I have to go soon.
Yes,
Actually,
we're gonna
in a second.
We're ending it now. We're at an hour and 21 minutes minus the 5. So yeah, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. So anyway, that was our near-death experiences and some of yours. Once again, the topics of each week will be posted on Monday. Not this Monday because we are going to go through the 863 stories. We cannot go through the chapters because the chapters are behind a paywall, but we're going to talk about the canon. So which is what's being posted right now. And I know that there's been some confusion about 863's uploads. So what Chanel is uploading right now to the Substack is canon that people are writing.
Fan-written canon.
Yes,
fan-written stories that they have integrated into the canon. What they will put out later is stories officially written by
5th.
Chanel or Matt or one of them.
Yeah, August is Chanel.
Yeah.
August 5th will be the actual chapter 1 of 863 season 5. So the chapters are going to act like episodes. So it's going to be like the first episode of season 5 of 863 on August 5th. But we will not talk about those because they are behind the paywall, but we will talk about the canon on the 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will see you guys then. Hope you all enjoyed our that's kind of weird if you enjoyed our near-death experiences.
Yeah, what are you?
Hopefully you enjoyed mine, because if I'm going to die, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die here underneath the tube, and they're gonna find my body, and it's gonna have no pants on it. I did think
find
that
your body, and then they're gonna find your body.
Yes, yeah, they're just I don't know why I thought that. I was like, I cannot die without pants.
I can't die. That's the only reason why you wanted why you wanted to get out of that.
I cannot die without pants. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. Because it's not Artemis if it's not going to be embarrassing. Thank you to everyone's stories that we read today. I hope you guys had fun listening to our stories and hanging out with us. And we will catch you guys next Saturday at 1 p.m. We're going to talk about the cannons. The cannons.
Yeah.
We have 3 of them to talk about. So if you're not caught up on those, join the 863 Substack. And we'll talk about them next week. But till then, we also have our Twitch. Make sure you are following either us on Twitter or you are on the Discord. And I usually just stream randomly on Twitch. So we will see you guys then. Make sure to check out Crouching Bison's poster collection at s4podcast.com. And make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you, Mary, for becoming a level 1 member. Your name will be added to the new title sequence. So once again, if you want to have your name appear in the title sequence, you must become a YouTube member. And on that note, podcast out. Bye, guys.